All right, so next we're gonna start looking into adding these two items here. The first one is that we have this text here, and then we have this text, but it seems to be on top of something else. So it's gonna be a structure with corner, as you see, a container with corners that which we are going to be putting together. Okay, but if you look superficially at this section here, you can see this is a row because things are laid out left to right or side by side. That means then after we've added our column, then we have our container position. So in our column here, we are going to add another row. Before we do that, let's wrap this into a padding because it just makes things better. Now we could leave things as they are, so edge and sets all 8, but we're going to change this because we want to actually have a padding only to the left, so left to right. So I'm going to say only, and then say left, and it's going to be about 24. Just put 24 as such. Okay, so there is that nice padding there, which kind of looks like this one. All right, not bad. Okay, now we're ready to look at this structure. We're going to put a row. Let's put a container, and this container, I'm going to add a width of about 100. And I want the alignment actually to say alignment center, because everything needs to be in the middle. And the child, I'm just going to put a text that would say details. And then still inside of our row, I'm going to add an expanded, and the child is going to be, for now it's going to be just, let's add a text for now that says reading. Okay, we're going to change a few things later, but for now that works. Okay, there we have it. That doesn't look exactly what we want, so we need some spacing between author's name and the structure. To do so, to make it so that it takes enough space or all the space that it needs, we can use what we already know, which is, let's come down here, right before the row I can put a spacer as such. Like that. So it's going to push all this content, all this row to the bottom. And voila, you can see it's there. Okay, we're going to do some work to make sure that this actually looks better, but at least you can see we have that spacing we're looking for. This padding, when I say edge insets, I want to say symmetric. I'm going to put vertical so that whatever we put here is going to be symmetric, which means vertically it's going to take this padding offset here. So it's going to be about 10. So top to bottom, top and bottom, which means this container that we added for details. Let's go ahead and save real quick. And the other thing also, for our next expanded here, what we want to pass actually is not just text. If you look closely, we have this structure first, and then on top of that, we have that text. So we're going to create that structure so it looks really nice. So you can see we have this rounded corner and this other corner that's rounded, but it's kind of cut off to align with the main view, main card. Let's see how can we make that happen. So here, instead of text, I'm just going to pass a class or a widget, which we haven't created, called two-sided rounded button as such. And of course, this one, we're going to pass a few things to it. Okay, the text is going to be button text, which we remember correctly, we passed that as a parameter, as a field. And the next thing we're going to pass is press. It's going to be press read or red. Color, it's going to be K light purple, like that. Now we're going to go ahead and create this class here, a widget. So let's go to our widgets, click, make sure we're inside there, and then we're going to create a file. Call this two-sided round button, like this, that dot, and then create a stateless widget, pass that name. Let's go ahead and material. So like the other widget we created earlier, this needs to have a few fields as well. So I'm going to create a string text, which we're going to be fitting, right? I'm going to also put a double called radius. And then I'm going to put a function, or we're going to have a function field we need to pass called press, and color field, color. And there we go. And let's go ahead and create a constructor. There we go. We have a nice constructor there. And what we can also do for a few of these, for instance, the color, that color, we can right away set things up, right? So to have a default. So the color is going to be K black color for default color. And we can also say, for instance, radius is going to be about 30 for its default. All right, now let's create this container or this item, or in this case, this structure here. Actually going to do is we're going to wrap all of this inside of a new widget, which is the gesture detector. The gesture detector widget allows us to allows the widget that it's wrapping to have more customizable event listeners, right? So we can say long press, on tap, and all sort of things. So that's what we're doing here. So for on tap, as you can see, if I say on, look at all of these different event listeners or functions we can pass to listen to the event on a gesture detector. Very good. So all we want is the on tap. The on tap is we're going to pass the press function that we are passing here when we call this two-sided rounded button. Now inside here, this is where I'm going to create the structure. Which structure we're talking about? This structure there. So first I'm going to put an alignment, say align center, start typing like that, and then you can get help from the editor. I'm going to put padding around, I'll put edge insets, and I want symmetric again, and vertical, I'm going to say about 10, okay? And then we're going to put decoration because we wanted to decorate this whole thing as you see there. And I'm going to use box decoration as such. And then for color, I'm going to say that color. So whatever we're passing when we invoke this class, two-sided rounded button, we're going to pass a color as a parameter, and that's going to be taken in. And then border radius, I want that only. And then here, top left, this is where things get interesting because top left, we want to put a radius circular and pass the radius that we're going to be passing, right? And I just see here, this radius here, but whenever we construct this, there is a default one, which is 30, okay? If nothing is passed, the 30 will be used. And then I want a bottom right? It makes sense because we're talking about now, we want the radius to top left to be this one here, right? Top left to have this nice contour there, and then the bottom right to also have the same kind of radius, right? So I'm going to say radius, that's circular, and then pass our radius as such, right? And of course, remember, we're still inside of our container. That means container has a child. Right? If you want to show inside of it, it's going to be text, which is going to have the text that we're going to be passing. And then we're going to pass a style. And the style will have text style, color. I'm going to say colors.white for the text. Right? Okay, very simple. You would think to create something like this, it would take a lot of work, but that's all we did here. It's just understanding how to use the box decoration and how to use the border radius, in this case only, and also the top left, we can pass the top left, which means we want to make sure this top left has this amount of contour, and then bottom right. And that's about it. That means then, if I save this and go back here, I can just go ahead and import that package, and things are good. In fact, so good to where if I save this, I should be able to then go back here. We have a problem here. So says assertion failed. Let's go back and see what the problem might be. Okay, looks like the column null string must be provided to a text widget. Right, so let's go back to text. No, let's list reading list.card. Right, this text widget, we need to pass something. So it means whatever we're calling it, we need to pass the actual text widget. I'm going to say text, or button text, that is reading. Okay, let's see if this is going to save us. And voila. And as you can see now, we have these looking really good. We have reading, and look at that. Okay. I hope you're getting excited seeing this coming to fruition here. It's really exciting. I'm always excited about these things because it's, I don't know, it's great. It's great. Just a little bit of effort, you can create amazing looking things that you see here, right? A very nice card, and we can put things to it, and look at that. All right, so we're making good progress. In the next video, we're going to try to finalize this card so we can hopefully start actually putting in book information fields so we can see the actual books.